Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Science Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the second most famous map of all of Supreme Commanderdom. You love it or you hate it, or maybe you're somewhere in between. It is Dual Gap. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce everybody in the game, starting off with Team 1 on the western side of the map. Very bad oval there. And ending with Team 2 on the eastern side. Starting off with the northern section of Team 1, we have in orange, the color orange, it is Zihai Monashi, I think is how you say his name. He is a UEF for this match. He is a 1500, again, in Northern Air. To his south in Northern Land, it is Sineo, something like that. He is a Cybran in Snow White as a 1400. And rounding out the northern section in Southern Land, we have the Seraphim of Dry Friend. He is in Amethyst Purple as a 1600. Moving on to the naval slot here for Team 1, it is I Have Balls. He is a Seraphim. He is a 1200. To his west, we have in the eco slot the Batman Gray player of Visca playing as an Aeon. He is a 1300. And rounding out Team 1, we have in Stage Blue, it is Moy in Southern Air. He is a Cybran. He is a 2100. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and tied with somebody on Team 2 for the highest rated player overall. So for Team 1 side of the map, in terms of faction makeup, they have 1 UEF, they have 2 Cybrans, 1 Aeon, and 2 Seraphim. Take a look at Team 2's northern side in Northern Air. It is Stromberg? I think it's German. He is a UEF. He is a 1500. To his south, we have a Boba Apocalypse. It's an interesting name there. He is a Cybran in Lattice Red Pink. He is a 1400 in Northern Land, and he's walking into Team 2's Kamka's 500's base. He is in Southern Land this match in Pac-Man Yellow as an 1800 as an Aeon. To his south, we have in Ruby Red as the eco player for Team 2 is Eric Aki. He is a Cybran. He is an 1100. Probably am butchering everybody's names today. Apologies for that. And to his south in the eco slot, we have Team 2's Westimatron 20. I think it's how you say his name. He is a UEF. He is a 1200. And rounding out Team 2, we have in Glow in the Dark Green, it is Hoshimoshi. He is a Cybran. He is a 2100, tied with Moy on Team 1 side of the map for highest rated player overall. And again, he is the highest rated player on Team 2. So for Team 2 side of the map, they also have 2 UEF. They have 3 Cybrans, 1 Aeon, and 0 Seraphim. So no Seraphim for Team 2, but Seraphim and every other faction for that matter does exist in this game, so they're all represented on the map. Let's take a look at where our players, of course, are going, which, again, if you're familiar with Dual Gap, you know where they're going. We do see the Southern and Northern Land players for Team 1 moving into the middle. Same situation for Team 2. Looks like in terms of speed, it looks like Team 1's barely out ahead. I will note that the Northern Air is ahead of the Northern Land is ahead of the Southern Land, and for Team 1 it's reverse. The Southern Land is ahead of the Northern Land, which does make sense, at least in terms of time, because of course the Southern Land is closer to the front line than the Northern one is. In the naval situations, we do see units have been dropped off by both of the players. We do see some engineers have been dropped off going for a nice little Team 1 sonar installation to get some readouts of what Team 1's up to. And I would not be surprised to see a naval facility here shortly. They're getting another sonar system, again, for the similar purpose. Couple of bombers inbound from Team 2 causing some issues, but looks like they've been dealt with. And interceptors are having a variable discussion on which color scheme is the best. And we'll see what our eco players decide on doing. Of course, they're going to get their eco up and running, but maybe one's going to go for Game Ender, one's going to go for Artillery, one's going to go for Nuke or something. But of course, those are obviously the players to watch out for. And of course, their next door neighbors being the highest rated players in the game, they are going to be ones to watch out for as well. We do see the front line facilities are starting to be established. No one's full setting it to the middle just yet. Of course, there are some reclaim positions that both teams desperately want to have. We do see a couple of Thams just waiting here for Dryfriend to continue to move along. And there are some engineers on the Trimex position here for Campus getting some facilities here prepped and ready for him. It looks like the facility here was denied at some point because it is now losing hit points and is not progressing upwards. Team 1, in terms of tech and units, are starting to progress quite nicely. We do see the middle of the map has been conquered by them for now. And Dryfriend is moving in to claim that quad mech position there. In terms of Navy, there's one frontline facility for each player, and we do see a second one was started. And it's being slowly evaporated just because it's not being worked on. No T2 Navy upgrade yet that I've seen, but a frigate has made it to the shoreline and is targeting the mexes on the northern side of the main set of mexes for Eric Aki. I think, again, still don't know if I'm saying his name right. He pops out of the water almost. Loses that second mex, but he does end up keeping it. And now we have combi action between Campkers of Team 2 and Dryfriend of Team 1. Dryfriend really doing a great job of just saying no thank you. He's actually capturing the facilities of Campkas. He's saying no thank you. These are mine now. Thank you for building them. Engineers dropped off, I think, to do an exact counter. Team 1 PD trying to be built to deny the comm. There are some units inbound. The engineers are being targeted. The comm will be able to finish the upgrade, however, or the PD, but the situation not looking too good. A Bulb Apocalypse inbound from the south, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sin Ray moves in to assist here shortly. But Dryfriend is not looking too good in terms of the hit points. We do see some units inbound from Senile to assist. Again, still don't know if I'm saying his name right at any degree. Campus is losing hit points very quickly, even at 0 speed. A couple of Selens, decent amount of Mantis and Thams in the mix. Of course, the comm is doing a great job, which is really dropping those hit points. Campus is going to die here. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's trying to pull the units away from his teammate, so that way they're not going after him. But he will be the first departure of the game. And it'll be a nice little victory on the land situation for Team 1, which of course will inevitably mean that Team 2 will turtle up a little bit more, and then the remaining land player, Above Apocalypse, will probably dip his toes in the Navy to push on that side of things. But the front line for Team 2 is definitely not looking great, and we do see a couple of facilities pumping out some annoying little flares for Above Apocalypse to get a little bit of agency from. He's almost at 1 stars now, but I don't think he might get his one from these facilities. Maybe not. We're definitely an unorthodox strategy, at least in terms of we hardly see the capture mechanic even be used that much in this game. So it's nice to see that being used by somebody at some point. And we do see that Sign Rail looks like he's going to fall back to his base just so there's not a retaliation against somebody on Team 1, and I would assume that Dryfriend will Dryafratin, again still have no idea how you pronounce it, will probably fall back shortly. He is almost at 1 star. He might stay for a little bit longer to get that 1 star veterancy and then leave. Interestingly enough, we do see some transports laden with in some are those Mantis or those Medusa? I think those are Medusa on board, and I think they were spotted by Team 2 at some point. T2 Air is online. Looks like it was almost newly minted, or at least barely newly minted. Team 1 already going for T3 Air, and T3 Air not started in the north, but T3 Air not started in the south. So Team 1 is a little bit ahead in the air game. A couple of AA facilities have been produced, but oh, those Medusa are going to drop. There they go. And we do see Strong, I think that's how you say his name, is going to be split between a rock and a hard place. Medusa inbound. They are going to finish off that T2P gen that was started up. A couple of Stingers inbound to deal with them, but they are going to be able to take out at least one of the P-gens. The goal probably would be to take out the T2 air headquarters if possible. A couple of Medusa now going after the other mexes, and they've already wiped out 2 of them. 2 of them might be able to do a little bit more damage, and the facility is being assisted in terms of building those gunships as fast as possible. A couple more of the Medusa remain. A couple of engineers are taking a hit from the AoE splash damage, and I think that Pigeon might be fine. It looks like the remaining Medusa have been eliminated, but a Pigeon was denied and Mexes were denied, so the T3 Air headquarters upgrade will be at least a little bit slowed down on the northern side of the air. T2 Navy is done for both naval players. No dipping in the toes of the water for anybody else in the game, but again, that usually happens towards maybe the 20-minute mark, or in this case, maybe we'll see a Bob Apocalypse dip his toes a little bit sooner than that, because he is going to lose the frontline battle here shortly. He does have a couple of assisting gunships because why not? And there's not a lot of AA here from... Oh, I guess there are a couple of bangers, never mind. So they'll deal with those stingers quite quickly. There's a couple of T1 AA emplacements as well. So those gunships aren't really going to be doing a whole lot, I guess. In the south, T3 Air is done. T3 Air almost done for Visca to be able to get, of course, those T3 engineers online. Maybe he'll go for Nuke. We'll have to see. But again, we're only 11 minutes into a 50-plus minute game, so there's plenty of time to see what these players end up cooking up. We do see T3 Air is now done for the Eco player of West de Matron, and T3 Air also now done for Hoshimoshi. Who knows, maybe the Eco player will just be another air player and just pump out some strap bombers or something. That has happened. We do see a little bit of raiding going down from the middle. Again, the APM isn't that bad of a loss for now for Team 2, and we do see some sharing of mexes between the land player now for a Bob Apocalypse, and then a couple of more for Eric, and then Hoshimoshi to at least help get some sort of advantage in either Navy or in the air. Left drone started on board Strom. I'm assuming he's going to go for the right one here shortly. We do see a couple of destroyers starting to make an appearance, and Team 2's fleet is doing a pretty good job of pushing back Team 1, but we've seen time and time again where the early gains in Navy, they get, right to there. Even they might even kill off a facility or two in the main kind of channel area, but those players that really turtle up, it makes it very difficult longer term in terms of the T3 side of things for Team 2, at least in this case, to push in. So usually that turtling team ends up firing back quite heavily and ends up backfiring on Navy. So we'll see how far Team 2 pushes in. We do see Raz coming on board here for Visca, trying to get that, again, Eco just pumped into his veins as quickly as possible. In terms of Eco, Team 1 is winning overall. I do want to note that we have Hoshimoshi. He's at 100, but a Bob Apocalypse on double base, or slightly double base, is at 133. And the leader for Team 1 is going to be Visca, the Eco player. The Strap Bomber inbound from Team 1 drops off a couple of payloads. Looks like 1 and then 2 already have been destroyed. And I think that Strap Bomber was shot down, as I just missed it looks like. Well, I don't see the wreck anywhere, so maybe it got... No, oh, okay, no, that's not the wreck, that's the mexes. I don't see the strap bomb anywhere. Oh, there it is, it landed in the water. I just didn't notice it because it only had 600 mass. But I guess that's not terrible. It's not really that mass efficient, but it is better than something. Better than nothing, I should say. TMD, PD, shielding as much as possible for Team 2. The southern side, of course, is going to be a little bit weaker, which Team 1 is taking full advantage of. And they might circle back around and do a nice little pincer maneuver, or they could just continue this way, which Team 2 will have to divert resources either away from this base, which makes it even easier for Sign to move in. Or he can go this way, he can go this way. That takes longer. It's just best to go straight up the middle and call it a day. Team 1 is getting a little bit more of their presence back. Another facility coming online, but I feel like at this point, Team 2 has a little bit stronger of a presence in Navy. Air situation is going to be very back and forth. We have T3 air done for Team 1 in the north, and T3, and of course T3 Pigeons are starting to appear as well for everybody to get that Eco nice and expanded upon. T3 mechs, of course, being rebuilt on top of the wrecks of the old T2s. And of course, there's the time aspect where if you can reclaim it, or you can destroy the T2 mechs, reclaim it, and then build the T3 mechs, it's better than having it just upgrade normally, where you just click the upgrade and it just builds essentially the upgrade or modifies the upgrade, or whatever the process of going from T2 to T3 is, just happening. It just kind of gets, well, upgraded. But you can see that reclaim and then immediately builds it. And that's on 0 speed. Like, it's going very, very fast here for Matron. Oh, no, that's Team 2. Team 1, that's Mori. There are some names I can pronounce. Some names I just get good luck. In terms of 15 minutes on the clock, Team 1 is starting to get a little bit more better of a lead. It's 900 to 730 in favor for Team 1. So you can see that spread starting to happen again. Eco isn't the end-all be-all, but it does help a lot. Having a lot of money does help things in every situation pretty much. Lots of Vipers coming online here for Team 2's Abob Apocalypse, and not a lot of TMD here, not a lot being at all. So eventually those units will just be bombarded by missiles, but it is Cybern v Cybern, so they have the same issue those Vipers from Team 2 do, is even if for some reason those missiles are shot down, some damage will still happen on those units or structures, unless there's just a lot of TMD. We do see a couple of Zooey and Thams pushing, a couple of Rhinos moving in to deal with them. That's pretty easy to deal with, though. Not a lot of forces and not a lot of issues dealing with those. But again, it speaks to a bigger issue if there's just a big gap. And now we have those forces again kind of shifting towards the middle instead of going west. And it slows down Team 2's fight back, and it gives Team 1 time to prep a little bit more. We do see some stealth fields being built, which will kind of try to hide them, but the Team 2 side of things, they know it's there, so they're just going to be shooting at them. So it's the stealth field generator is nice for mainly units or structures that haven't already been spotted by Team 1, or in this case Team 2, but they know those mexes are there and they're not going anywhere, so that stealth field isn't really going to work. No T3 Navy as of yet from either player in the water department, and no other toes being dipped into Navy as of yet that I've seen. So it's going to be a little bit more of a one-to-one action. We do see that the destroyers have transitioned into the sub variant, and are now trying to push in onto those destroyers and a cruiser from Team 2. The cruiser does not have torp defense on board or torpedo, so it is a little bit exposed, and you can see that the cruiser is just going to fall back to have to, well, deal with that. SMD is going to come online. Good to see that. 17 minutes on the clock. Team 1, no SMD yet, but it has been thought about. We do see some pinging going down for engineers, I guess. Don't know what that's about, but maybe he just handed off all of his Team 1s and called it a mass fab around the hydrocarbon just to cut off a little bit of the power consumption, and more mass fabs being built on the edge of the map as well, just to expand their eco as quickly as possible. T2 started for Strum in the water, and it looks like nobody else is going to hide in the water for now. RAS comms definitely going to be produced. It's actually stopped, which is weird because usually you want to get that done sooner rather than later and just pump out a bunch of RAS boys, but maybe you just got distracted for a moment. Mass fabs also being built by the air player, which usually it does happen from time to time, but usually they just go for straight power. They just want as much mass as possible. Again, this is setting, so a little bit of a different strategy in terms of mass, because you're for the most part limited by the core 8 mexes. Sometimes you get the mexes in the middle like the land players, but for the most part those are the only mexes you get, and so in order to increase your eco you have to build mass fabs. That's kind of the only way around that, or you build mass comms, or you build the upgrade on board your comm, but that only is one. It's one upgrade instead of a potential 1,000 from the RAS boys that could be produced. T3 Air progressing here for Z-High. Looks like he's probably the furthest. I would say his opponent of Strum is the furthest behind just because of the raiding that happened on his base earlier. So the Northern Air player is going to be a little bit weaker in terms of their firepower in the air. And it looks like Mori and Hoshimoshi are it looks like Mori is ahead, but not by much. Again, P-Gens and mass fabs versus just P-Gens. He is going for the T2 mass fab approach, where he's double ringing his mexes, or mostly double ringing his mexes. Again, more volatile in terms of the chainability of them versus, I guess this is more chainability as well. It's embedded into his air grid partially, so again, he's going to definitely need to shield that sooner rather than later. We do see PD being built to shoo away the Vipers, but again, you need TMD as well. Those missiles are very annoying to deal with just because they have just a lot of splitting apart nonsense. I thought, yeah, there you go. You can see them splitting apart there. I do see a couple of Loyalists mixed in there, so even missiles being launched by Team 1 will be thrown back at them. And the loyalists are being dealt with. So T3 is starting to make appearance on the land side of things at almost 20 minutes. And shield has been started on aboard Matrone's comm, getting as many engineers on the case to get those P-gens, get those mass FAFs, get those Rasboys, get more P-gens, just get all of the everything online. And he's already thought about a satellite, which that's Team 2 Scout, not Team 1. Team 1 has no idea about it. But again, it's very early. It was literally thought about, and they go, oh, okay, well, we'll put some mass on it, but not a focus on it. 2 sets of mass FAF farms started for the eco player of Visca. We do see in the north the air being a little bit more expanded upon, and more mass fabs being introduced as well. Is there a change? Because it's usually just P-gens, but again, partially driven by the mass fab or the mass, not deficiency, but limited options. SMD built on the north, love to see it. SMD built on the south, SMD not built on the northern side for Team 2. They are going to build it here shortly, so they are the slowest to build the SMD, which if Team 1 was going to be rushing for a nuke, they would probably be the likely target, but we will see if Team 1 even goes for it, or Team 2 goes for it. We'll see. Some of the destroyers are not using their main weapons. Some of them are not. It looks like the vast majority are still underneath the surface, so not great. There's a lot of firepower that can be brought to bear for Team 2, but again, they can only really target the destroyers that are above the surface. The ones that are not, it's just resorting to torpedoes. Looks like Team 2 lost 1 destroyer. Team 1 lost 2, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like they lost... Oh, maybe they lost 1. Looks like 2. And there's just a lot of torpedoes between the 2 fleets. And again, they are starting to slowly inch onto that T3 stage. There it is. T3 has been started. And again, the Seraphim battleships can produce nukes. So they are very, very dangerous. But they're on the front lines. Usually the sub nukes for all the other factions, they're behind the enemy line. Actually, they could be behind enemy lines. Behind the friendly lines just to keep them protected at all times. Or at least try to, at a bare minimum. Torp bombers are raining in onto the destroyers. They really need some AA in this mix. And then there is torp defense on every destroyer in the game, but again, 1,000 torpedoes will eventually break the defenses regardless of how many torp defenses you really have on board. This one has 100 hit points remaining, this destroyer, so it's not looking good for that one. T2 also on the front line, and he's going for T3 at the same time, well, actually, just right after that one. Yeah, it's nice to have a backup, but I feel like that's a little bit more mass investment. Might as well just upgrade to a regular T3 and call it a day, but I do understand wanting to have that extra engineering on board just to assist and just really pump out stuff. He could go for battleships here to cut down the travel time and then go for Yasows back here, but he is getting some engineers, so I guess that's why he's really getting a second one on the front line for units. And his mexes are actually being upgraded by his teammate of Visca. He's spending a little bit of eco there. Lovely assistance there from the eco player. I don't know if he has mass to spare, which he's just draining everything he can all at once. Really wants to just beef up the Navy player and have that line of defense in the sand already and not have to worry about redrawing lines later. We do see some bricks now emerging for a Bob Apocalypse. He's still sitting at the most mass. He's barely beat by Hoshimoshima by 3. It's about like 30 or so, 25 or so. But the eco player for Matrone, now he's focusing on that satellite. He's almost done with it. And yes, the satellite is nice, but once Team 1 spots that thing, and speaking of which, it's already spotted by Moy. Guess what? Shields are going to pop up immediately. Some of these main facilities are already shielded just because they have to be. Or else, missile snipes, a strap bomber or 2 comes in and wrecks all the mexes. These are going to be shielded very quickly. The air guard's going to be shielded very quickly. Everything's going to get shields. Look at that. We're already seeing shields being deployed up here as well. So it's one of those things, especially on settings, you have to keep that thing hidden as long as possible, or it's just not as effective. On other maps as well, you need to keep it hidden, but there's a lot else going on. There's, again, not a definitive meta for dual gamp, but there's enough of a pseudo meta to where it's not as effective unless you keep it hidden, because there's a lot of resources that can be pulled together, especially with the closeness of 3 players on the northern and southern sides. You can really just spam a nuke or spam an SMD or spam a satellite, spam something to really try to counter what the opposing team is trying to do or will do or can do. We do see Yothotha online. We see it. A Monkey Lord is trying to be built, trying to get as much reclaim as possible, get as much mass as possible to fuel that thing, to buy Team 2 enough time to get some sort of other defensive online, because there's really nothing down here. There is an SMD, and like I noticed, it's barely loaded, not even barely loaded, and they need to get that thing loaded ASAP. And here comes that Monkey Lord crashing in on that front line. Monkey Lord will most likely be finished, but the engineers are starting to be targeted. And that chicken does have its lasers on, or that plasma. Yep, it's going in on the Monkey Lord. And it's not, even if it does finish, it's going to be heavily damaged and really not be that useful. There is a brick or two still alive, but again, that damage it's doing to the chicken is nowhere near the damage that the Monkey Lord's going to be able to do to it. A Boba Apocalypse finishes the Monkey Lord, and his secondary weapons do start to open up. But again, it's not going to mean that much, because there it goes. Doesn't even get to move an inch or two, a meter or two, and that is a dead experimental. And that front line for Team 2 on land is dead and gone at 25 minutes. Again, they can go this way, they can go this way, or they can go this way. Usually this option is probably the best one, especially now, but they might shift this way, because Team 2 is going to pull resources down here to try to fight, because it's a narrow neck of environment. So you can get a lot of shots raining in from all the PD here, and it just becomes a kind of just cluster right here. It's not really that effective for Team 1 to engage this way. It's kind of similar up here, but at least this aperture, they do get a little bit more wider engagement. And of course the SMD is here, so might as well target that. There is a Monkey Lord hiding roughly in the shadow of that wave of purple from Dry Friend. Again, still don't know if I'm saying his name right. Satellite is over the top, and look, the shield is already here. Looks like he control K'd an air facility to get the shield in the middle, and he upgraded the T3, actually T3 plus. It's an ED5 shielding. So again, for those that, I mean, most of everybody watching probably knows about it, but the ED4 T3 shield is not actually the end-all be-all. It is the ED5. We have a couple of whalers inbound from the south from Hoshi Moshi. Decent amount of flak in the mix. Again, the flak on board the chicken is really nothing to pay any mind to. It looks very similar to the T2. I think it might be, I don't know how it matches up, but it's really good against T1 units for the most part, just because they're obviously weaker. So a run of T1 bombers will still do damage, but they won't get that second pass for the most part. And also ASF's inbound from Strom to assist. But the northern side of things, the air unit's not really doing a whole lot. They're just hanging out. More and more torp bombers being produced by Team 2 to fend off Team 1's aggression. And part of this is just to give them some sort of breathing room. We have some Yasaus now being produced, and this is what's really going to start breaking through the destroyer lines. But ASFs are inbound to try to clean out the bombers before they really go after those Yasaus. This one is not going to make it home, though, to dinner, and this one might make it home, but we'll see. And more being produced, of course, all the time. And we do see a battleship. So we kind of flip things. The Yasaus are being produced on the front line, and the battleships are in the back line. I thought it'd be the other way around. But I guess Yasaus are kind of cheaper to produce, to be fair. Gun being started on Eric's comp. That's interesting, because I don't know why he would build that. Because he can't use his gun underwater unless he has a torpedo. But if he's thinking about dealing with the chicken, which the chicken just forgoes going this way and goes this way, which... hey, if it works. Which it looks like it is going to. Eric will lose a decent chunk of his mexes here. We see some gunships. And again, they're still being deployed against the chicken, but they're going to ignore everything up here. So it gives a little bit more time for this force to make it a little bit through the defensive line. And that crab was inbound to the north, and now it had to switch around and go to the south to engage this chicken. The chicken will try to get maximum damage done with its Ion Storm, sit right on top of that T2 air quarters, and actually wipe out the ability for Eric to build those torp bombers, and it'll just kill it off even with the explosion from the quote-unquote crash damage. And that crab is going to walk right into that Ion Storm. It can take a beating, but it will take significant damage. And I think it's just sitting there to just soak it up. There's a Pigeon that's still here. There's a mechs over there, but I don't think it'll clip it. And that crab might actually die from that Ion Storm. Oh, that's not great, but at least the mass is on Team 2 side of the map, so that's something. Second Monkey Lord online helps kill off the first one from Team 1. And they did kill off that SMD. Very important. This thing is down. if the northern side of Team 1, or even the southern side of Team 1, just spam loads a nuke. What is this? Well, there's a Mavor being produced, so there's that. There's a lot of PD here, decent amount of shielding. It's not that close to the Mavor, and Team 2, of course, has spotted it. But, oh, there's an Alice bomber. Look at that. Another one being produced. So Team 1's already thought about a way to end the game. 28 minutes on the clock. And oh, you gotta love to see it. Counter Mavor coming online. The only problem, which I think most of you who know me by now know, there are no shielding anywhere. Nowhere to be found. At all. Team 1 could easily counter this with just a stray artillery round, bomber or two, and just blow it up, no issue. Satellite, it's not going to do anything against the shielding. One satellite will not be enough to pierce that shielding. It is not worth going after it. Might as well go after these mass FAF farms and just slowly eat away at the eco for somebody on Team 1. But Team 1's eco player of Visca's at almost 600 mass income, and he's pumping probably most, if not 90+% of it into loading an SMD and building that Mavor. Team 2, again, no nuke that I've spotted, which would indicate the massive loading of the SMD, but no, it's just going to be another satellite for the northern air player. And Molecular is starting to thin out the ranks for Team 1. But again, that push was just to delay them as much as possible, help get more stuff online in the background. We see another air experimental almost done, and this one almost done. There's going to be 3 Awasa bombers online here shortly. That's not good. Even if you send 2 of the 3 of them, you might be able to grab both of these at the same time. Grab these 2 and then this one. And that would eliminate the long-term plans of Team 2's eco player. At least for now. There's still time. Plenty of time for Team 2 to come back, but not looking good for now. Mavor for Team 1 being produced decently quickly. It's already up to almost, what is that, 37.5% hit points. More shielding. You need more here. You need more here. You need more here. You need more here. You need more everywhere. You cannot have enough because you're worried about missile snipes. You're worried about strat bombers. You're worried about all of the everything. We do see PD already here just to prevent any sort of telemaser nonsense, or at least try to prevent it. I would like to see some TMD. Well, there's 1 or 2 of them, but not a whole lot. We do see the satellites are targeting more vulnerable targets, going after all the P-gens, going after all of that. Do not tell me the Awasa bomber is trying to block a satellite with its... Okay, it's not. I thought that's what was going on, but it is not. P-gen is being reclaimed, so when it does end up being killed off, yep, there it goes, immediately reclaimed. And the engineer is trying to get a little bit more mass from the dead structures to be able to fuel that Mavor even more. Yeah, it's not always the case that whoever builds the first Mavor or first game ender wins the game, but it definitely helps. Definitely helps having that Team 2's fleet. Again, we do see actually Hoshimoshi, the air player. Usually it's one of the northern side of the map players getting into the Navy, but we see Hoshimoshi dipping his toes into Navy, which, again, that's mass not being built into ASFs, being built into strats. He does actually, speaking of strats, have about a dozen or so down here. So we'll see what he ends up doing with them. But Team 1's, doesn't have that much AA online, but their ASFs are running, a decent screen. And if Team 2 could time it, they might be able to get to here before the ASFs catch up to them. If, again, the ASFs go this way, this way, this way, this way kind of thing. But it looks like they're kind of doing more of a, circular pattern. But they're not on a patrol. They're just on a individual micro, or a group micro, I should say. Wall sections being established just to curtail movement, have them go this way. You can't always just shoot the wall sections, of course, but just try to herd the cattle in one direction is really what's happening. 32 minutes even on the clock. Team 1 has all 6 players left. Team 2 only losing Kempka's earlier in the game, which makes it a 6v5 in favor of Team 1. Eco situation that is not that much mass. It is 2.6 for Team 1, 1.5, 1.6 for Team 2, so 1,000 mass difference roughly in favor for Team 1. That is very striking. It looks like he donated all of his mass over to his teammate Visca just to help load that or build that Mavor even faster. So he's kind of out of the game, but he did that specifically because he wants to help build the Mavor, which that's one of the easiest way to do that is just give the mexes over and call it a day. which, speaking of which, the Mavor is done at 32.5 minutes. And Team 2's Mavor is done as well, essentially at the same time. Ooh, it's going to be the firing of the Mavors as quick as possible. Bombers are inbound, and they're carpet bombing on the air grid. Look at it go down. That air grid is decently demolished. Oh, and it goes right past the artillery emplacement. An air fight happens between Team 1 and Team 2. Looks like it's about a mixed bag. I think Team 2 is going to win just because the AA nearby, but the air grid is significantly demolished. And especially those mass fabs going down, that's got to hurt. Well, we know where the shots are going to go between Team 1 and Team 2 at this point. Satellite being built as a nice little spotter for the Mavor, and shielding being heavily assisted. You can see some of them already coming offline. But the shielding is already in place for Team 1. The shielding is coming into place for Team 2, which is the hard thing because building shielding under artillery bombardment is hard enough, let alone a Mavor shot, which completely just almost demolishes a shield all by itself. Now, if they were Seraphim shields, they'd be even better, which I'm surprised that Team 1 doesn't have. Ooh, the shielding on the far side is not low. Oh, the shielding is down. Oh, it's back on. And the satellites are helping keep the pressure. If you're constantly doing damage to the shield, it can't naturally regen in terms of the capacity. Once it's down, it will, naturally recharge essentially, but it keeps it down, allows the Mavor to punch in a little bit easier. And you can see all the engineers constantly shifting to different shields to try to get them to stay online. More shielding is being built. Another set of shielding is down. I'm surprised that the satellites aren't targeting the P-gens. Oh, the shielding goes down and the Mavor is down. 34 minutes on the clock. It took a little over a minute. And the Mavor from Team 2 is the victor in that engagement. GG's out in chat from Moray. And all of the everything else is gone. All the mass is gone from the wreck. Team 1 has to develop another strategy to deal with that. They had 3 ISL bombers and oh, the shielding is collapsing. Oh, and it's gone. Oh, explosions. Oh, it's an SSU blown up. Okay. Now the SMD is being targeted. Of course, that's the second target. That way Team 2 can build a nuke and blow the bases apart. It's a kind of easy way to clean house. Lots of mass fabs down here. No, lots of mass fabs. Lots of E-storages down here for capacity, of course. But Team 1's fleet is now knocked out all of the naval facilities for Team 2. So no Navy for Team 2, which that is kind of a problem because that artillery on board those battleships can reach the Mavor. So you can kind of guess where they're going to go. They're going to end up over here and then constantly launch some artillery shells. We do see SMD was knocked out. I don't think it's been replaced yet. And the SMD over here is still alive for now. So there are opportunities for Team 1 to come back with a nice little nuke. Same thing with Team 2. Their mass, again, their numbers aren't super great, but wiping out sections of air grid is helping kind of thin at least the unit count. We do see the stealth abilities on board those Revenants have been activated. This is what Team 2 can see. They can't see the ASFs. They can't see anything of them. We're going to be a little bit of a surprise. The ASFs are down here for Team 2. They're going east. They're trying to cut the middle. Team 1, I don't know if they're aware of that. They are aware of roughly where those ASFs are. It looks like commenting on Moy saying, hey, pull back. It looks like ASFs are going to try to engage. There's a lot of AA over here. They can't fly over here because they'll get knocked out of the skies before they get even close. They need to essentially hook down the channel and then take an immediate right turn, or their right turn, or south turn, and just bombard that thing, which there is not a lot of shielding, so that could be possible. Oh, they're going to be spotted. I think Team 2 saw them. The strats need to make a turn now, or not a turn now, but oh, they need to go for it. There's AA being built on that northern side. They're taking losses. There's that turn I was talking about, but a lot of them have already been killed off. And the ASFs from Team 2, oh, they're raiding in. Are they going to go for it? Are they going to even get there? And the answer to that question is no. No bombs were dropped. It looks like they were actually going off to Hoshimoshi's comm. And I will note, for those of you who are not dual gap veterans, if you kill off a player, you kill off all the stuff they built, because it's share until death. So that is a way to eliminate stuff, is to just kill the player who built the stuff. Shielding going down, Pigeons going down. We do see that Signs Mexes did go back to him, so that's nice to see the re-gifting back over, because sometimes people forget. I would forget sometimes. Tons of Tempest being built by Team 1, though. Looks like they're going to invest into naval technology, and to be fair, Tempests, the battleships, all of that are going to be within range to be able to take out that Mavor. Another satellite being built on the southern side, another satellite being built on the southern side. That's 4. And then 5 up here that's already built, of course. So Team 2 is going to have 5 satellites here shortly. And they're going to act as constant vision for Team 2, taking out whatever they can pick apart, the mexes, the whatnot. And of course, it gives them options of, hey, we should target oh, look, there's another one. There's another Mavor just sitting next to a Seraphim shielding the UAF air grid. A little bit of sharing tech from somebody on the northern side. Looks like Dryfrin gave it over some engineers. And even if they built Seraphim shielding, which may not been better option, I don't think it would have been enough. Oh, that goodbye. That's a nice little headshot. Not a headshot, but a pretty nice, just right on the hip bone or something. Cut him at the knee, not the knees, but kind of just hit them on the hip bone and just knocked him down. So second Mavor attempt by Team 1 has been denied by that same Mavor from Team 2 that I said needs shielding. 163 in climbing, mass killed. Does that have its first vet yet? No, it doesn't even have its first vet yet, so it takes a lot of mass to get that 30 plus stat, says Sanel. I still don't know if I'm saying any of these names right. Looks like maybe a land incursion might be possible. They're taking out all of the AA up here. They're really trying to just deal with any sort of impediments for bombers, gunships, whatever from Team 2. And again, there are torpedoes on board. The Mega with same with torp defense, but that's a lot of Yasows, and that's a lot of firepower. So anything walking underneath the surface is going to get shot at incredibly quickly and fast. It's not going to be fun. Fat Boy going to get hit by the bomb from the Awasa. The Awasa's, again, did clean a little bit of the house out for Hoshimoshi. And he's just going to switch over to just protecting this Mavor. This is, I think, Team 2's main weapon. If they lose it, they might not have a second option, at least for now. 38 minutes and climbing. And SSUs blow up. That's a lot of mass killed, as well as the air grid being just torn asunder. And the T3 area quarters being denied, so no air for Team 1 on the northern side. Maybe a second attempt on a Mavor maybe somewhere. Maybe not. I don't know. Then the air grid essentially is gone. Team 1 is losing eco quite quickly. 2.5, 2.4. Team 2 is climbing a little bit to 1.8. Another satellite is done. That's 3 there. Another one there. Needs to get shielded immediately. And of course, the 4th one is up there. Those Tempests should be done. Oh, there's a well, the eco player has a lot of eco. And guess what he's putting that eco into? 1, 2, 3 Tempests. Now, again, the artillery, especially the T4s, have unlimited range. Problem is, they do have a minimum range that they have to fire at. Let's look what the minimum range is. There we go. So, with anything within that yellow ring, they cannot shoot at. So, if Team 1 can get units, or PD, or artillery, or something in that range, that Mavor cannot shoot it. So, that's probably what Team 1's going to do, is just try to get those Tempests right here and just bombard from the Navy. Laser is started for Hoshimoshi. He's probably going to go defensive-wise and go for cloaking. So that way he can deter any sort of telelasers from Team 1. There are 2 possible attempts, Moy and Sanel. See, again, that's the problem with telelasers. It is a huge risk and reward. If Team 2 can kill off a major impediment from Team 1, that might secure them the win, but... example for Hoshimoshi going for laser, if he dies in the attempt, everything he built is gone. So it's very risky to go for telemaser. Usually it's a last resort weapon for Cyberns and Dual Get, because if your stuff is already dead, what does it matter if you die after that? Because all your stuff isn't going to go to your teammates anyways. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tempest now online. Multiple Awasa bombers also online. Team 1's not going to, I think, invest in anything stationary. They're going to put everything into mobile, because the Mavor just, again, chews through shielding like butter. There is enough shielding that can exist that will prevent the artillery from breaking through, but plus satellites running around, plus all this other stuff. Team 1 is losing eco. They're down to 2.3 now. Team 2 at 2,000, and it is a race against the clock. The northeastern side... we have a nuke just on the edge of the map, and it's going to fire immediately. It looks like it's going to go right for this position. So the Team 2 desperately wants to go after that SMD to knock that out. The SMD, of course, is still online, and more shielding is being built by Team 1's Visca to be able to protect that thing. Still not enough against the Mavor, but, you know, oh, here comes a shot. Ooh, there's a little bit of a cascade there. Looks like a couple of those Mastiffs were protected, but those shots are still raining in. Eco player's being hit hard. Visca's now at, well, he's still at 665 to be fair, and the only player close to him is a Boba Apocalypse, which is at 700. But here come the Tempests. They're moving into range. Now there go the cannons. They're firing into anything they can. I do like the placement of these AA. They're nestled very nicely in this little canyon area. And you can't, or valley, I should say. Canyon? Valley? I think it's a canyon. And you can't really hit them unless you're coming from this angle. Everything else, you're going to probably hit one of the walls. And looks like there's a battery of T2 artillery, which is a good move from Team 2 to try to go after all of the everything. There's a lot of battleships, though, from Team 1. And there goes the shielding almost immediately. Another one pops online, but it's not going to matter. Team 1's going to continue to push. Team 2, looks like they had a team. That looks like that's Team 2's Atlantis, but there goes another Atlantis there. They don't have torp defense, so realistically, in this situation, we have a bunch of Yasows. Atlantis can't really do anything because there's so much torp defense that their torpedoes are being denied, and now that's gone. A new one is just newly minted, but again, it's just a losing game. Team 2 is sinking mass into something that's not going to do much. We have a Megalith on the shoreline, though. He's going after the battleship. That's a really good move because the damage from the guns are going to be way better than the torpedoes. The only problem is cannons on board, everything else can still shoot at it. So, and now that Megalith is being pulled back, and it's not going to matter because it's dead anyways. And, of course, Team 2 doesn't want Team 1 to reclaim it. Speaking of reclaim it, we haven't... Oh, that's a lot of reclaim. 450, 460 and climbing. We have Yasows going after all the everything. We have torp launchers being built just to, again, fend off the Yasows, which they are doing a pretty good job of fending them off. But at this point, there's 4 chickens, and guess where they're going to go? Right there. Is that a Scathus? That is a Scathus. Barely started Scathus, but it's there. Hey, and there's that cloaking upgrade I was talking about for Hoshimoshi. And I hear an Awasa. Where is it? I hear you. That's Team 2 satellite. It's being pulled back to the front. Awasa bombers being a nice little target of Team 2's air, and Team 1 doesn't have a lot of air at this point, so that's 2 dead bombers. Doesn't really look like they pushed in too much, but they did kind of wipe out whatever defenses were on the ground there. And there is some air remaining from Team 1, and the chickens have actually decided to emerge from the water, I think prematurely a little bit, because essentially they're being body blocked by these 2 crabs, and they just can't go anywhere. Strat bombers are inbound, again, to help thin those numbers out quite nicely. Or at least the hit point variety, but 1 Megalith is dead. Oh, that's a dead another chicken from those bombers. There is some cruisers mixed in there from Team 1. I also see some of the missile-capable ones as well from the Seraphim side. Essentially, all the chickens are dead, and it cost Team 2 some strat bombers and 2 of the crabs. So, again, it gives them more time with the Mavor, so... You know, how much mass do you spend to protect the one thing that you really, really need? Team 1 is starting to recover, but there's still a lot of points that could be easily targeted by that Mavor. Teleporter started on board Z-High, so he's probably going to make a desperation play and try to go after something, blow something up with his comm. But again, they don't know that Hoshimoshi has lasers and is going to have cloaking here shortly, so he will be able to deal with a lot of any sort of teleporting nonsense. And this is going to be a really good nuke from Team 2 because it's going to nuke 2 heavily destroyed Tempests and all of the everything in the pond or in this little channel here. There's even another Tempest inbound. I think that Mavor is shooting at the Tempests. So he is dropping those hit points quite nicely. And there's a lot of booping going on, which means those experimental battleships are just going to take tons of damage. Here goes 2 of them. Kaboom! Again, it wipes out a lot of firepower. Granted, those 2 were already damaged quite severely, so a lot of the hit points were. It's gonna get killed soon anyway. But now we see those battleship shots are raining, and the shielding is starting to break. And it's starting to, and the crab actually doing quite well, acting as a bullet sponge. But some of the shots are raining in over its head just because the chicken is decent. Not the chicken, the crab is decently tall. Another explosion somewhere. Looks like SACUs blown up in the base, and that's gonna hurt the eco a little bit more for Team 1. The SMD is down, so Team 2 could have gone after this, but there is an SMD here. It isn't loaded yet, so that maybe a missed opportunity, but they wanted to relieve a little bit of the pressure from this because this is the main troublesome thing. It's in their channel. It's in their base technically, and it is not fun for them. Another nuke is inbound. Again, same location from Team 2's northern air player of Strung, and it is working. That battleship is going to get hit. It's not going to be fun. This one probably will be fine. But again, out of the 5 initial Tempests, there's another one inbound though. 3 of them died to nukes. Maybe 4 died to nukes. Oh, nope. That one gets clipped. Just barely, but that one dies. That's a lot of hit points that Team 2 no longer has to deal with. And now that one's dead. Team 2 pulling everything they have, and essentially we have Eric out of commission because he just doesn't have much mass income remaining. But he does have a laser on board, so that's something. Another Fat Boy is coming online. Another Fat Boy is coming online. We have a wall section because why not? And that Crab is going to dip his toes into Navy Team 1. Starting to lose a lot of that steam. They had so much going for them earlier and mid, but the late game is starting to hurt them. Now we see the mass fabs are being targeted. My Team 2's... Oh, that's a little bit of a cascade. The main mass fabs don't get blown up, but they will if anything else blows up, because it's just going to be enough AoE damage to kill everything else off. Kind of surprised we don't see the satellites going after other targets, like the Tempests that are coming in to slowly erode those. Oh, one of the satellites got hit. One of the stations got hit, I should say. It looks like it was this one. There is a chicken moving around from Team 1. And there's also a crab from Team 1 as well. Nuke is inbound from Team 2. Again, they are... Is that Team 2's nuke? That is Team 2's nuke. Team 1... I mean, they're coming in with the land, and that might be a way to help a little bit. The shielding being assisted as much as possible. And the chicken just needs to get to here. If it can get to here, or even get to maybe there, it might be enough range. Ignore everything else up here. This is the target. And Crab going after satellites, going after Fat Boy. It's going to die on the vine. It's not going to get anywhere. That Scathus, I think, is more of a distraction than anything else. Again, just send the chicken in. The Ion Storm will do the rest. It is moving closer. It needs to get even closer. Really do a lot of damage. You got to keep that thing moving, because it'll sit there and just get bombarded by the everything. And I don't know where that nuke went. Looks like it maybe blew up other stuff. Maybe it actually got shot down. Oh, there goes the nuke. Teach me air quarters. And the comm of I have balls gets sniped by the northern air player of Team 2. But that chicken is inbound. The crab is down. The comm of Matrone moving in. The chicken gets right where I thought it should. And it just Team 2 needs to hope that the shielding... Why are there like... Oh, it looks like there's 2 of them mixed in there. Shielding goes down because of the crash damage. It's underneath the shielding, which means the generator will go down here shortly. There's a lot of stuff for that laser to hit. And Team 2 is just hoping that the Ion Storm does not hit all of the important things. Another shield is online. Oh, that Pigeon's going to blow up. Shielding back offline. That Pigeon and the... Mavor goes offline, so the naval pressure is not as important to go after this. Nice grab by Team 1 chicken of Dryfriend. Nice job, and again, got exactly what it needed to, and that leaves a lot of the pressure of the backline. Still the satellites to contend with, but a couple of satellites is a lot better than a Mavor. And the chicken is dead. Again, the wreck still remains, so Team 2 has that, but a lot of their long-range firepower is knocked out. They still have the nuke up here, which is doing very well for itself. 169, nice, 1,000 damage, or 1,000 mass killed with that. Should have checked the Mavor, how much they killed. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we don't see a lot more engineers from Team 1 to scoop up all of the everything that exists in this channel here. In terms of reclaim on the map, sitting at 500 plus thousand, 500,000 masses on the map. Lots and lots of stuff to scoop up, and that's a lot of reclaim. Team 2 desperately needs it. They dropped to about half of what Team 1 has. Team 1's about where they were, and the Mavor is going to start to be rebuilt, and a Bobo Apocalypse says nuke it. Talking about the mass fabs, SMD was knocked out, and then was rebuilt, and then knocked out, and now this one is here, and that one's newly minted, so everything here is going to be dead and gone from Moy here shortly. but again, he's invested into Navy now, so he doesn't really care that much about air. I mean, he does a little bit, but he's probably going to produce some aircraft carriers just to build them. But we do see, speaking of aircraft carrier, Atlantis in the pond. And Team 2 coming in with the bricks just to help out as much as they can. Here comes that nuke inbound across the bay. And looks like maybe some ground firing from Team 1. I don't know where the Tempest shots are going. It looks like they're going... Oh, those... Did that just ground fire under its own... It did! It ground fired under its own thing. That's weird. Oh, and pointing out that the Tempest can build units on their backs. Wipes out a chunk of eco. Wipes out the everything else. The SMD that was built. Nice new hole for Team 1 to try to fill with everything and the kitchen sink. But we have Eric getting getting shot at, not ground fired. I guess that's the same thing. By the Tempest, and he's going to die to the shots from that Tempest. Another Tempest is down. We have Strats inbound. And they no longer have a target? Question mark? Don't know why they're sitting there. But again, Eric didn't have much remaining, so whatever he did have will get blown up. Don't know how much that is. Just looks like a couple more stuff. Looks like now the Atlantis are being ground fired. There's 5 of them online for Team 2. They put everything they had into naval defense, and it wasn't enough to deal with the chicken defense that they needed, I guess. Another crab inbound from Team 1's Moy, and again, not many defenders. That Fat Boy did eventually get dealt with. And was that teleport doing anything? Oh, he's gonna tell the Billy. He's gonna oh, there is a shield here. How does it look on that? Oh, it is covering the nuke. There's a second nuke now. Strum gonna pump out as much as he can. And we do see that a Bobopocalypse trying to get as much mass fabs online. That would be a nice target. You might be able to place it here and just cascade all the way over. That's gonna be that's a lot of ego for a Bobopocalypse that might just die here shortly. There's 16 of them. 16 times 16 is 16 squared. 15 times 15, or 15 squared is 225. So it's probably like 240, 250. I'm trying to do math in my head really quick, but it's just... I don't know my 16. I knew 15, and I know 13 and 14 because the numbers flip. So it's 169 and then 196. But we also have some bouncers from Team 1 just hanging out over here, and Fat Boy fire from a teammate doesn't help things as well. And oh, they're being reclaimed, which is funny. But the comm has teleported. Where is he? I can't see him if he's in the northeastern corner because of the scoreboard. I could get rid of it for a second. Is he up there? No, he's not. Where is the comm? Where'd he go? Oh, he's right here. Oh, okay, he teleported short. It looks like he's going to tell the Billy from there, maybe. But more Tempests are inbound. Most of the Atlantises have been dealt with, or Atlantes have been dealt with. And Team 2 is kind of on the last legs now. That Mavor was a lot of their momentum, and it's gone. But again, that's one of the only problems with investing so much in the game ender and only relying on that, is if it's dead, no, that secondary plan, that backup plan needs to come in immediately. Because Team 1 went for Mavor, and then they went for it again, and they're like, that's not worth it. Another nuke is inbound from Strum, I would imagine. Yep, there it is. He's inbound for the 5 chickens, and the 5 chickens are like, oh, I think he's targeting us. And they kind of split apart. 2 go in the water, 2 go high, 1 goes another south. So that nuke might kill off some bouncers. It may kill off one of the chickens. It will actually kill off a wreck. Maybe from Team 2, maybe from Team 1. But that chicken's already dead because of the everything else. So honestly, this nuke isn't really going to do anything. And actually clips his own teammate's unit of a Bobopocalypse. Oofda, that's not great. And where is that? He's not building yet. I thought he was going to teleport it. Maybe he's just waiting. I thought he was going to teleport straight in. And looks like those Yothothas are going to use the little go around the water approach, or go through the water approach. And again, the chickens have a lot of firepower on board, but one of their main strengths, and we saw it, is the Ion Storm. That Ion Storm, after a while, was able to not be prevented by reclaim. So you could just send the chicken in without any harm. And we have some hives going to try to help not regen, but reclaim the chicken. And this is what I'm talking about. Usually you'd have a hive immediately try to reclaim that wreck so it doesn't activate, but they prevented that from happening because you can see that pause there between when it actually crash lands crash lands whenever it falls down completely, and then when they have the ion storm activates. T3 land hand is going to be knocked out. Looks like the chicken's waiting for the ion storm to be taken out or done with, and that way they can go safely. Pigeon goes, not Pigeon, another mass fab goes down. Is that another nuke from Team 2? Another chicken is dead. Yeah, that's another nuke from Team 2. Team 1 does not deploy nuke technology. I don't know why. They went for game ender tech, and they're like, we're good there. We're good for big stuff. Teleporter started for Hoshi Moshi, so he's going to probably try to just telemaze or something and blow it up. But again, Team 1's power is not in stationary stuff. It's in mobile stuff. It's in the Tempest. It's in the chickens. It's in the megawatts down here. We have counter fat boys down here from Team 2. A lot of the firepower for Team 2 is somewhat stationary. Granted, they're on the defense, so they, it's going to be stationary regardless if it's a unit or structure. But going after more bases might be helpful. But here comes a nuke, wipes out. I don't even know what was there, to be honest with you. Maybe they try to snipe a comm, but the comms might be on a patrol move, so they're not going to worry about being hit by a rogue nuke. And those Tempests, they're coming in strong. We have 2, 4, 6, 7 of them in not ground firing, but killing off the AA around Hoshimoshi's comm. Again, still surprised that they're not coming in just submerged instead of being surfaced, but we see a lot of Vespers. It looks like it. That Vesper just got a mean plasma ball to the face, or the back of the head, I should say. We have some torp launchers being produced. Is that a... Oh my goodness, that nuke is non-stop loading, or non-stop firing. It sounds like it's a machine gun at this point. It's like a YOLO. That's turned into a YOLO at this point because of how fast this thing loads. Look, another one's going to fire. It's because he's using hover drones to just load it, one after the other. Where's your comm? Sir, where is the orange? Oh, he's down here. He keeps teleporting away, and I don't know where he's teleporting. Where's he going now? No, oh, that nuke's going to be great. It's going to maybe hit 3 of them. And there goes Team 2's Hoshi Moshi, defeated by Visca's Vespers. 55 minutes on the clock. That nuke's going to come in. There goes Team 2's player of Matron, and that was who built the Mavor. And Mori is killed off by Strong in the nuke, I guess, from Team 2. And there goes, what, 1, 2, 3 players. And then looks like Team 1's... Where did the orange... You keep teleporting. Nuke says Z-High. And, there's the... Yep, the death of a chunk of mass fabs and whatnot. So Team 2's remaining stuff is in the northeast. All of the southern players are dead, so everything down there is gone. And it's just a chicken walk. There is a tiny desync, but again, I don't think it matters because it's at the very end and we know what's happening. So Nuke kills off, and then the remaining players from Team 2 teleport out of there and say no thank you. And Team 1 wins the game at 56 minutes and 18 seconds. So nice job, Team 1. Again, they covered very well, and they took the correct approach, I think. And they tried for another Mavor again, at least... Oh shoot! The Z-High did, I think. Was he? Yeah, Z-High was the one, I think, with the UEF base to the north. Yes, he did. He tried to go for Mavor. It didn't work the second time, and he's like, "Okay, fine. I'm not going to worry about it." And Team 1 focused on in the Navy, which is the lane that they won already by that time. And just look at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 Tempest, not counting anything that was reclaimed by anybody. In terms of a reclaim on the map, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, over 1 million mass on the map. Look at all of the dead stuff. Kind of a small little pocket of stuff down here, but it is everywhere. Partially, of course, some of that was driven by the fact that Moy was killed off, so you got all that reclaim from there. But still, a whole bunch of stuff dead for Team 2 and Team 1 to scoop up. But Team 2, just that once that Mavor was dead, there's all their momentum gone. And it happened from one chicken. Granted, there's other stuff that led up to that, but that one chicken from Team 1's dry friend essentially sealed Team 2's fate. So let me know down in the comments what you felt the game, how it went. Good things, bad things about casting, all that stuff. Really do appreciate all the comments. Again, hopefully enjoying your weekend if you're watching this when it releases. If you're not watching it when it released, hopefully you enjoy whatever day, morning, evening, night that you're watching it. Hopefully you're having a good time. And again, thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Hit the like button and subscribe if you did enjoy. And I will see all of you in the next one.